Hello and welcome to my country garden. Well, we're in the midst of some fantastic weather here in Scotland, and we're going to have more of this for at least the next week and a half. So that has spurred me on to try and get as much of the things that I'm growing out into their final growing positions, get as much out as possible. Which is no mean feat because there's tons and tons of things in the house and in the polytunnel. You've heard the expression, I imagine, you can't make an omelette without cracking eggs. Well, it sort of applies here as well, because although I've got lots of stuff to plant out, I've actually got a lot of work to do to actually prepare the planting positions for them. I've got a couple of raised beds to build, I've got some areas to clear, I've got some beds to top up with compost and manure, etc. So it's going to be a bit of a feat. But hopefully I will be able to achieve it. Okay, I constructed this little bed earlier on the year, bordered it on a couple of sides with some old logs and on the other with some plastic edging. And I put some compost from my compost bins in here, but it really needs a top up. So I'm going to top it up with a bit of farmyard manure and at least one more bag of compost. And this is going to house 3 courgettes. Yes, 3. One of each variety, one of each of 3 varieties. So I'll show you those in a second, but just let me get this bed sorted out first.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane.
So I'm going to have to make sure I protect my little courgette plants when I put them in here, so they don't get scratched up by the chickens. And eventually I will put a little bit of wire around this, I think, just to stop the chickens getting in and firing the compost everywhere. Hello. As is their desire. Right. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be putting 3 courgettes in here. The first variety is Black Beauty, and this is just a typical long, quite dark fruit. The next is Astia, and this again is a long green fruit, a little bit lighter than the Black Beauty. And the last one is a ball-shaped fruit, a yellow one, and it's called Summer Sun. So I'll probably put Summer Sun in the middle, I'll put Astia at one end and Black Beauty at the other. And I've got some of these guys to put on top of each of these plants just now to keep the chickens off and just to give them a little bit of protection if it gets a bit cold overnight, which it's not really meant to, but it should be fine. So I'll do this for maybe a week or until they outgrow these, and also until I get an opportunity to put a barricade around here to stop the chickens getting in. So yeah, let me get these planted. Let's see. I've still got lots of plants. I'll need to give some away, but I may plant another one in a pot somewhere, which I may live to regret. But I didn't get 1 courgette last year because of the weather. So let's just pop you in here. Actually, I need to get my trowel So the compost I put on when I first made this bed was from my compost bin, and it's got a bit hard and dry because of the weather. But this fresh stuff should be better. Okay, let's just try this. I'll need to water these first, but that should just about do it. Watch out you. They are quite big, those ones. Okay. Summer sun. I'm going to give this bed a good old water. Oops. Yeah, definitely needing to go in. There we go. This is Astia.
And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go.
There we go. 3 courgettes in. Brilliant. Now, as you can see, it's a bit of a big mess at the back there. There's still some bits of wood that are too big for me to cut and actually to move. It's quite tricky. And then there's a bit of a resurgence of some ivy. And then you can see the white tarpaulin there that's got some wood under it. And then again, more overgrown stuff. And that is my, at the moment this bed's got some elephant garlic in, which is doing great. But this is also going to house some sweet corn and some beans, probably some bush beans. So yeah, I've got a lot of work for tidying that. But yeah, I don't know whether that's not necessarily something I'm going to be doing today, because I'm not needing to plant into this bed yet. But yeah, there's certain areas in the garden that still are no-go areas at the moment and rather unsightly. But I will get there. I really will. I've moved a couple of things out of the polytunnel so that I'm able to have a row of tomatoes on the right-hand side here. I still want to get some of this moved so that I can get some more tomatoes and cucumbers situated at least along part of this side. But where my tomatoes are concerned, this little guy here is Tomato Artisan Pink Tiger. Little, but it's looking fine. Then we have an indeterminate Santa Victoria. So it's got a bit of a bamboo cane at the moment, but I'll put some proper bamboo canes or some string in here shortly. And here we have, this is a Shirley. This has been out for ages. This is an indeterminate no, this is another determinate. It's another one of these guys, Santa Victoria. So these are sort of cherry, no, a plum shaped tomato. And here we have another Shirley, and you can see I've got 3 little tomatoes. So again, I'm needing to put the proper climbing structures in all of these, but they're supported with those bamboo canes just now because they've been actually sitting out in the polytunnel for a few weeks now. This polytunnel is in its last year. The zip and such like is falling to bits, and yeah, I mean the actual structure's okay, but they don't make this type of polytunnel anymore. And so I'm thinking about biting the bullet and getting myself a proper polytunnel. Yes, bigger than this, proper one, situated in the same location, but I'll need to move some beds around outside and some compost bins. So that is probably going to be a project for later on this year, and I'm quite excited about it. Oh, another tomato. This is a determinate one. This is Romello. So this one is not going to climb. It's more of a bush variety, and you can see there's lots of flowers on it. It's been out here for a while as well. A bit dry there. So yeah, that's quite happy. I just put out these chilies. This is cayenne. This is Aji Norteno. And there's another Aji Norteno here, and a Anaheim. And you can see I'm getting a fruit on that one. I've also hidden in here, I've got some chilies that I put out here ages ago, and they've just sort of languished in the back of this little grow house. And I'll pot those up properly. Yeah. Now I do have burlesque and sun gold tomatoes on the go as well, but they're still only that size, so they're awful little. I hope they will grow on. I've potted them on into their own little pots from the cells that they were in, so I'm hoping that we'll get a bit of a burst of growth in those. And then I also have Outdoor Girl, which I will be in a moment putting into their growing position, and they're going to be growing outside. So I've got 3 Outdoor Girl. They're the sort of potato leaved tomatoes, and I'll get those situated shortly. Here next to what will be the big sweet corn bed, so I had made a little area that initially I thought I would plant it directly into, but it means I can't access the big bed from this side. So instead I've just put some weed suppressant fabric down, and I'll pop some stones or whatever in here, and I've got 3 pots that I'm going to plant into, and I'm just going to plant some flowers in here. Now I've got tons of flowers of my own, but actually I was out today getting compost, and I picked up some flowers that I saw in the shops as well. So I've got a pack of, these are African marigolds in an orange, and I've got some begonias in a yellow, so I thought they would look nice together. And then I've got 2 packs of dahlias. Now I got some dahlia tubers from Farmer Gracie earlier on, and they're growing on at the moment in pots in the polytunnel, but these are obviously grown from seed, these ones, and it's a mix, and I think that would be a nice jolly mix in a couple of these pots. So either side I'm going to put the dahlias, and in the middle here I've got a grass in this pot as well. It's just coming back after its winter out, and here I'm going to put a combination of marigolds and begonias, and I'm going to water them very, very well. I've just topped these pots up with fresh compost as well. These are actually quite good trays, so I'll be keeping these for reusing probably next year now. There. So I've still got 4 left, and I've got some of the other left to pop into pots as well. Now to give these pots a really good water. I'm going to see if I can do anything with that so that I can make a little bit of space at the back there, maybe for a couple of pots. I don't know whether that's actually a tree stump that's still in the ground, or whether it's a piece of trunk, or a couple of pieces of trunk. So I'm just going to have a look and see if I can clear a bit of space there.
Come closer, dance for me. Easy tiger, easy, let your hair down. Come closer, let me see all your million faces and all your million mistakes. You don't need to hide. Come closer so that we can be together. Everything that has been don't matter no more. We've burned it. All those words.
Okay, so I did this without pressing record on the camera. Duh. So I've put some weed suppressant fabric down where I cleared away some of the old bits of wood. This pot had a strawberry in it that was overwintering, and it's looking lovely. Had lots of weeds, so I cleared all the weeds away. And then I thought, well, I had a few pots of multi-sown onions. I think they're exhibition, these ones. I've got a bed with exhibition onions in, but these were spares. So I just popped 4 little clumps in here, and I'm sure they'll grow happily together, actually. And I was just thinking how gorgeous the dark, wet compost and the contrast to the lovely green of the onions and the strawberries looks. Isn't it super? Now, one of the things I wanted to grow this year for the first time ever is oca. And oca is a tuber that has a sort of slight lemony flavour to it, I believe, and grows a bit like potatoes. So the tubers form underground and you harvest them at the end of the growing season, and you get lovely little tubers. And usually you will, when you're going to grow them, you will get tubers. You might even chit them, pardon me, you might not. And then you pop them into a pot or into the ground, and they will grow rather like potatoes. They will break the surface, you'll get nice plants above ground, and the tubers form below ground. So I thought, yep, I quite fancy trying oca. So I ordered oca from one of your normal gardening supply outlets. And when they arrived, I expected tubers, but when they arrived, it was actually little oca plants, little seedlings. So that took me a bit by surprise. So I have I popped them into slightly bigger pots and grew them on indoors, and I figure they're ready to go out. So I'm assuming that they will form tubers underground and give me oca like I had hoped. And I hope it's not that, I grow them this year and they get oca tubers next year. I don't know. But anyway, here we have some little oca plants. So they're definitely ready to go out. And this variety is called Giggles, and it's a red one. So yeah, these are going in. So I've got this big pot here. It's about 60 litres, freshly filled with compost. And I am just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 plants, probably too many, but I'm just going to pop them in here and see what happens. If it's anything like potatoes, if I put too many in one pot, I will get smaller tubers, but we'll see. So if anyone's grown oca from plants rather than tubers, please let me know. Yep. So this is one plant I won't have to label because it's pretty obvious what these are. So I'll give them a good water and fingers crossed I'll get some oca at the end of the season. Okay, I prepared this bed last weekend by topping it up with more compost, making sure it was nice and weed free, and then putting a net on. It's a cargo net or debris net. I did have strawberries in this bed 2 years ago. Wasn't quite enough sun for those. Then I had lettuce last year, which was great. This year I'm going to put in some brassicas. I'm taking a bit of a chance because these brassicas are still quite small. Let me show you what I'm going to put in. They're in cells at the moment, and I don't want to have to pot them on and then let them grow in pots for a while and then pop them in here. So I'm going to go for it. So I've got some mustard greens. These are actually looking nice and healthy. They're fairly, well, largish. I've already put some of these in another bed up towards the top of the garden. I've got some Calibri Green Magic. These are a bit smaller. I then have some kohlrabi, and that's a bit bigger. It's called Purple Delicacy, this kohlrabi. And that's sort of all from this tray that I would pop in. This has also got some beetroot in, but they're tiny. And some rhubarb chard, which I wouldn't put in this particular bed. So what I'm going to do is take a chance. I've got lots of other brassicas, but they're this size or smaller. So I've got various cabbages and some more calabrese and so on. So if I do have a problem in this bed, I can always pop them in when they're a bit bigger. And I've got another bed just behind you that's the intention is to have swede and Brussels sprouts in there. And I think that's all the beds I've got for brassicas now. I've already got some brassicas in, and I'll give you an update on how they're looking. But anyway, let's get these in and give it a good water and see how we go. I think the chickens have been in here, so I better just even it out. That'll do. Right. So let's try this kohlrabi first. I mean, they're nice little plants, but they are a bit little to be going out, but it's going to be absolutely scorching weather for a while. So hopefully the slugs won't come out and eat these. Who needs clean trousers? Not me, apparently. Okay. is a bit tricky to get in. There. No, get out! Get out! Honestly. Chickens. Chicken. Okay. Right, that is all I'm putting in there. Oh, God. Well, I did have a rhubarb chard, but that's now eaten, courtesy of Emily. You're a horror girl. Right, beetroot. Keep. Right, I'm just going to put the net down. I'm going to go and get some water. Net down so the chickens don't get in. Get some water, and then I'll properly net it and hope that they grow without getting eaten. In this bed we have Calibri Stromboly. I did lose one that got munched by a slug just right at the base of the stem. So I've put slug collars around the rest, but there hasn't really been any sign of any issues. The odd munch on the leaves happened before I actually put them in here when the chickens grabbed a bite when I wasn't looking. So these are Calibri Stromboly, and on the other side of this bed I have got a combination of lettuce and onions. The onions, it's a red onion called Carmen, and the lettuce is Marvel of Four Seasons. And the lettuce is just in to act as a catch crop. It's just interplanted with the onions. The lettuce will come out and then over a period of time, and that will leave the onions to grow on. That bed looks a bit dry actually. Better give that a bit of a water. Okay, this is where the 3 outdoor girl tomatoes are going to go. We're towards the top of the garden, next door to this obelisk with Nuplet Ultra Peas on, and to the other side is the little grow house that I built. So I had tomatoes here last year and I got a modest crop from them, but generally I got a modest crop from all my tomatoes last year. So I'm just going to do a bit of weeding, and then we'll position the 3 pots of outdoor girl tomatoes and get them tied into their bamboo canes, and hopefully they'll be happy here. Oakley dokley, there we go, 3 outdoor girl tomatoes in situ. Oh, and a little cabbage white fluttering by there. Yeah, 3 outdoor girl tomatoes in situ, and fingers crossed they live up to their names. So we're on the next day now. Before I finished up last night, I built the 2 remaining metal circular beds. So what I'm going to do now is get them filled. One of them I'm going to put flowers in, a bit like the first one over there, and the other one I am going to put some beans in. Okay, now that I've got the flowers in one of the circular beds, I've put up a teepee with 6 bamboo canes because I have 6 beans to grow up this. So yeah, these are the beans I am going to grow up the teepee. They're called Polish Independence beans, and I was given these seeds by Jason. Thank you very much, Jason. He is, his channel is called The Allotment of the Dead, and yeah, no idea what they're going to be like, but I'm going to grow these 1 per pole. I've got 6 of them. I had 6 beans, all 6 germinated, and they're definitely ready to grow on, so I'll get these into the bed. So here I am at the very top corner of the garden, and we have this unsightly plastic up here because this whole run is completely covered in brambles and particularly nettles and ivy. No way could I dig this out, and it would cost a fortune to get someone to dig it out, I think. So I'm opting for the cover it and kill it. So this was covered last year. I'm sure it will need another year or two. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to put lots of pots on it and try and conceal as much of this as I can. So I have just emptied this big pot. It was further down the garden, lugged the pot up here, filled it back up again, and I'm going to be putting some flowers in this pot. Now this is actually a 90-litre pot, so I couldn't move it while it was full. And it's nice and stable. It's on a step that I've sort of dug into the ground here. And my plan is, I think, to have some sunflowers in here. Whether I have all sunflowers of different heights or whether I have sunflowers and some other flowers, we'll see. I'm just going to have a look. I've got tons of flower seedlings, so I'll just go and see what I have, bring them up here, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I have a bit of a selection here. I'm starting off with this sunflower harlequin. It's not huge, but it's going out. This will grow to 5 or 6 feet tall though, so I've got a bamboo cane that I'm going to pop in. So this is going to sit in here. I have also got a collection of little teddy bear sunflowers. So I'm going to put maybe 3 teddy bear sunflowers in here. I'll keep some spare because slugs love sunflowers. And keeping on the yellow theme or the yellow and orange theme, I have 3 marigold cracker jacks. Now these are big marigolds, so these will grow quite tall. And just filling in while the rest get going, she says, I've got 1 little yellow begonia that I bought a pack of, and then I've got these African marigolds. These are sort of an orange variety, so these are shorter than the crackerjack ones. So that's what I'm going to pop in, see how that looks. There won't be anything stunning right now, of course, but hopefully as the summer progresses, we will get some nice colour. Oh, right. Thank goodness I've got a hose that I can train up here to to water this stuff. I'm actually thinking there's a nice flat bit there at the top, so I'm probably going to get one of the other. I've got 2 more of these pots, still full at the moment, but I'm probably going to put another one up there. I might put a squash in it and see if it can sort of sort of flow down over the black plastic, which would be quite good. We'll see. I've got, these are teddy bear sunflowers, and these ones here are called Sun King, and these are just like bigger versions of teddy bear, so these grow maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, whereas the teddy bear are smaller. So I'll put the Sun King somewhere else. Ugh. So it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so hopefully the surface of this soil will have dried before night time so that we're not going to encourage sluggy duggies. Right, so there's the big pot that I've got flowers in, and I've added to that this pot here, which has got in dwarf French beans, and these are called amethyst, so a nice purple podded dwarf French bean. Then up here there's a pot that I had just some grasses in. I've taken one of the grasses out and moved it, and that's given me room for 3 of the little dahlias that I bought yesterday from the place I got the compost. So that'll add a bit of colour with the sort of grassy background. And then here we have another pot that had just some grasses and this little cordyline in it over the winter, and I've added 3 more of the little dahlias. So again, some more colour there. This has also got the cherry Koji no Mai, 2 of them, one there and just a little one there that's maybe not quite so good. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get some colour as well as produce in this corner. I've still got some more space. I've been using the spade there to, I've been bringing the plastic back and digging some shelves so that I can put the pots on securely. Let's have a look actually at this lovely lupin that has overwintered so well, and you can see that there's lots of lupin flowers coming. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. That's a cracking plant. So I do look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. I feel like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. It's been a really, really busy couple of days. There's still so much to do. I didn't get half of the stuff done that I wanted to, but I do feel that I've achieved quite a lot. So I'll call a halt for now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now.